right, it's Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with, I can't wait to say it, Prospect of the Year, Bruce Carrington. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, we are excited. We're super happy. I'm happy I got bestowed Prospect of the Year. They're super excited because it's like we did a lot last year, 2023, 5 fights. Record was 5-0, 3 knockouts. You know, real productive. Try to continue to put on great performances and everything like that. And I'm really happy that, you know, my hard work has been recognized. And you know, we got Prospect of the Year, man. And that's just one milestone that we are excited to have. You know, but we're definitely working on, you know, other things in the future. And we're excited to see what 2024 got for us.
Well, you know, there's been an announcement of your comeback fight.
Yeah.
Back in New York.
Yeah.
And on an ESPN network, not the app.
Not the app.
No shade on the app.
Right,
it's the come up.
Right. Yeah,
but
sure.
you know, it's nice where you can go home and say, hey, don't even worry about downloading the app. Just turn on ESPN.
Yeah.
Your boy's gonna be there.
Yeah.
This obviously wasn't just handed to you. This was constant great performance to another great performance to another great performance. It pretty much just like validates must-watch TV. Bruce Carrington is must-watch on network.
It's the Shoo Show, man. It's the Shoo Show. We're definitely super excited to be fighting on ESPN finally. But you know, we worked our way up there, and I felt like, you know, my promotional company just definitely feels like I'm deserving, and I'm super happy to be able to fight on ESPN back at home. You know, my homecoming, especially after my last fight. You know, we stepped up competition. You know, Jason Sanchez was a good guy. He done fought Oscar Valdez, Zelfa Barrett, Christopher Diaz, and you know, and he's went 12 rounds with those guys. Nobody's ever stopped him. Me being the first one to stop him, I knew that at that point it was like, okay, nah, he's the real deal. Like, we gotta really give, you know, credit when it's due, and I'm super happy about that. Yeah, ESPN, baby. ESPN, must-watch TV. It's a Shoo Show. You don't want to miss it, and we worldwide with it, baby.
You mention worldwide, you know, when it comes to worldwide rankings, you've also got a pretty nice ranking in the WBO.
Yeah.
I believe ranked 11, so you're cracking right in the top 10 for a title contention.
For sure. You know, I honestly feel like it's not really because of who I fought, it's the way how I fight that really, like, gives these people that like, yo, like, no, he's really the big deal. He's ready for these guys, and I know I'm ready for these guys. I know I'm ready for the champions. I'm ready for the top 10. It's just, you know, everything's gonna play out when it's supposed to. And right now, I'm just really focused on just continuing to just put on outstanding performances, dominating performances, and man, it's just gonna be another day in the office, February 16th.
You know, with all these new changes that's going on, and you're like, you know, making that transition, you move to Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, you're training at the DLX, Coach K, like practically what, 3 a days? It feels like.
Yeah. I was just up 4 in the morning running. You know, put my miles in with Coach K, and then just finished my second session. I got my third session. Got to do some hot yoga at 7 p.m. You know, we working, man. But it's a regular thing for us at this point. You know, this is just how, you know, almost every camp is, to be honest. And a lot of people ain't working the way we do. Even, like, I know a lot of guys do 3 a days, but they ain't doing what I do 3 a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's just another thing that we got to keep ahead of the other competition throughout my whole career.
You know, because of that transition, you're going back to New York, and every time you go back to New York, there's newer things happening.
Yeah.
I believe there's a docu-series with maybe you and Mike Tyson, you know, be helping Mike Tyson with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, actually, it's with Shannon Briggs.
Oh, Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs is he's the guy that's gonna be really piloting this whole thing. It's basically, you know, kind of wrapped around his life, but also around the people that grew up around Brownsville, you know, like Danny Jacobs, Zab Judah, Mike Tyson as well. The past, present, and, you know, maybe future champions that's coming out of Brownsville as well. It's gonna be a great docuseries. It's in production right now. Don't really know when it's gonna be wrapped up, but yeah, man, I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'm really happy that I'm like, they got me really inclusive a part of this whole project, and I can't wait to really get it started, man.
You know, when you talk to legends like, you know, from there, like Shannon Briggs and Mike Tyson, what do they tell you when you like go back home? Or do they just text you every once in a while? Like, what does this conversation sound like when you're around these guys?
Most of the time, like when I actually really get to talk to them, it's in person. But whenever I do get to talk to them in person, man, it's always just about, you know, just being able to, just being proud of myself to be able to be a role model to the guys that people that's coming up from the hood, because we all come from that same background. And then just to be able to stay focused and take it all the way to the top and, you know, be to the best of my ability, to the best of my potential, because, you know, it's just like, it just seems like, you know, a lot of guys, sometimes when they make it out, they might get distracted or whatnot. But when you look at guys like, you know, the greats, like, you know, Mike Tyson, stuff like that, like they left behind a career to where it's like you can never forget it. And they always just give me that type of inspiration to make sure like I have a career like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know, with this possibly, I like to call it the bandwagon year. I was telling you, you know, ESPN,
yeah,
Prospect of the Year,
yeah,
higher rankings,
yeah,
you know. I mean, Bradley puts you at, you know, what does he call his
the double stamped blue, like double stamped prospects.
Yeah.
I think he had me as number 2, but I think after this last fight, he got me as number 1. We're gonna see how I got it.
Who do you have as number 1? Or what was the interchangeable?
I can't remember who was number 1. I can't remember who it was.
Maybe Jared Anderson or something like that.
No, but Jared wasn't. He had graduated from that list already. I can't remember who number 1 was. It could have been maybe Xander. I also think that Xander graduated. I can't remember who it was. Yeah. I just know I was number 2. That's all I know. But yeah, I think I definitely proved myself after that last fight, and you know, got that number 1 spot for sure.
You know, I know when you were out, I believe it was in Florida, when you had that performance, that great knockout performance.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk with Bradley afterwards, or?
I texted him.
What did you text Bradley?
I text Bradley. I was like, "Hey, I'm number 2 or what?"
Oh, okay.
You know, it's funny though, cause he didn't know it was me that was texting him. It was funny.
Really?
Cause he's like, I was like, Bruno. What I said was, Bruce Carrington should be number 1 on that list. And then he's like, oh, number 1, huh? I was like, yeah. So next day he texted me, he's like, hey, is this shoot? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I knew it was shoot. But you know, I was just messing with him and all that. But he did genuinely feel like I deserved that number 1 spot though. So, you know, but no, I was just messing with him. You know, if it didn't give me the number 1 spot, I wouldn't have felt the way, to be honest.
But he's a critic though. Like,
yeah,
you
he
know,
is.
Respectfully, not like a person who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No,
he's a harsh critic. So to be able to, you know, impress him, it means a lot. It means a lot. Each and every time I go out there and he's impressed by the little moves that I do, you know, him being a boxer, like he gets to see, he understands the little minute details that, you know, like other people won't see. You know, the outsiders won't, you know, the casual fans won't recognize. So to be able to impress a guy like that, it means a lot. It means a lot.
You know, seeing with all these great accomplishments, you stayed extremely humble, tunnel vision. Pretty much at this point, you called them just milestones to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So, what is your 2024 end of the year goal to be?
My end of the year goal is to be in title contention. Okay. That's my end of the year goal. I want to be able to be in title contention, so I can set myself up real good for 2025. 2025, I'm definitely trying to shoot for them belts. You know, I see like a lot of attention surrounding, you know, the 126 division right now. I see Raymond Ford and I can't remember. I don't even want to say his last name because I don't want to butcher it. But his opponent, him and those 2 guys, they're fighting for the vacant belt. Mm-hmm. And you know, the whole 126 division will be stacked, and it's gonna be very interesting. Then you know you got Inoue. He's interested in going up in 126 as well too. It's gonna be real tight. It's gonna be real interesting, and I can't wait. You know, 2025 is when it's really gonna be banging. 2024 is still things, you know, brewing. Mm-hmm. 2025 is when it's gonna really set off, and I'm definitely, you know, trying to make myself, you know, real known and, you know, really be in that mix for sure.
You know, last time I did an interview, you know, you spoke of the Inoue fight, and you mentioned that Tapaz could be like a slick, you know, sneaky fighter, which you can see later on. He made those adjustments from high guard to the shoulder roll, which strangely he went back to the high guard after.
Yeah.
But you predicted the fight was going to be a little crafty in that sense.
Yeah.
Did you see anything in that fight that I know some people might even maybe criticize Inoue's performance from the Fulton fight because he got him out? Did you see anything in that Inoue fight that warranted any type of criticism, or just the opponent, like you said, was just crafty?
Styles make fights. I felt like with Fulton, he just showed him a little too much respect. But even Tapales, in the beginning of the fight, he was showing him a little bit too much respect. But Tapales started to get comfortable. Then you started to see the craftiness start to come out. And I like Tapales as a fighter, man. He's a good fighter, bro. I honestly feel like if he was able to let his hands go a little bit more and not show as much respect in him early in the rounds, he would probably had a better fight, maybe even going in his favor. But Inoue is Inoue. Inoue, his power is, he makes a statement with that. He also has good reflexes and everything like that as well. He's very explosive. So there's the things you got to watch out for. And that's just the things you got to respect inside the ring with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the fight went his way. But I expected it to go that way, to be honest.
What do you think about the potential fight of him and Louis Nery? And I don't know if you know the backstory of.
No, I don't know any backstory behind him. What's the backstory behind him?
So like Louis Nery, when he used to fight in Japan, there was a world champion at the time, and so he fought this world champion, beat him, and then later on they had a rematch. But at this time, this was kind of like where a lot of fighters were with the clambuterol. So he was one of the fighters that had like clambuterol, and on top of it, he also missed weight. So it was kind of like he didn't make the weight. He had an adverse finding.
That's tough.
And then so he beat this fighter by a hellacious, stoppage.
Oh, okay.
So in Japan,
so
Japan actually, I think they put like kind of like a restriction on him to be able to go back to Japan
Really?
to fight. So, so this was a fight that obviously, you can see where if the fight happens, it would be back in Japan where they would uplift this ban, essentially. And so it's kind of like I guess. I want to speak for Inoue, but I would assume that it's a lot of the fans would have like a countryman gripe towards Nery.
100%, yeah.
So kind of giving you, and I'm just speaking from what I don't know the full detailed stories, because I would have to ask but that's what was public headline. So I guess, do you think that this is going to play a factor psychologically or mentally, like in the Inoue and Nery fight?
That's gonna be interesting. That's giving Margarito Mosley-esque type of feel, where the crowd is kind of really cheering for Mosley because Margarito kind of, with the whole hand wrap thing. But that's interesting. And Louis Nery is a good fighter as well too. I feel like that's a good fight for Inoue, but that's gonna be crazy. I know the Japanese. His fan base, he's gonna like really rally behind that, especially with all the that big scandal. Yeah, they're gonna really like go crazy for Inoue. So that's gonna be an interesting fight to watch. I'm gonna like to see how that goes.
Based off the style, Nery's come forward, likes to try to fight, knockout. Do you think that's gonna be dangerous against Inoue, or is that something you kind of have to do and kind of have to push Inoue back?
I feel like you have to push Inoue back. Like if you have respect, if Nery goes in there with respect, like Inoue is gonna get into momentum, and then it's kind of hard to get him out that momentum. Like that's the whole thing. You can't go in there with respect. You gotta really just believe in yourself, believe in your training, and just go out there and do what you gotta do. But be aware of the power and everything like that. But create traps to where it won't be able to affect you as much, and you kind of roll with the punches, little things like that. Veterans kind of know how to use people's best asset against them. So it's like you got to be able to do that with Inoue. So I feel like if Louis Nery can be able to do that with him, then it'll be a good fight. But I still see Inoue being the victor of that fight for sure.